All right. We should go pretty good right now. All right. Guess we're gonna get started. I don't have any viewers yet. That's okay. I still need to set up my alerts so I know when people are chatting. Figure out what to work on today, huh? What sounds fun? I don't know. You gotta go lay down. I'm a little busy. Okay? Go hang out. Maybe this music is too much of a bummer. I like it. It's peaceful, but some people think this kind of stuff is sad. I don't. But, you know, everybody's different. Check out this cool pencil sharpener. One part sharpens the lead. This part sharpens just the wood. So you can get a nice long lead. And this part sharpens just the lead. So you can get a point. It's pretty cool. By Blackwing, just like the pencil. These Blackwing pencils are super smooth. Although they don't make one that's light enough for my taste. I would like a little a lead that's a little hard, but for darker marks, it worked very well. I guess for now, I'm gonna message a few people with the link, and then I'm going to just start doing anatomy study practice warm-ups. We'll see where it goes from there. All right. So yeah, we'll start out with some anatomy study. I want to move this over a little bit. I got some issues. Someone told me that this is getting hard to see. So what I'm doing, I'm studying this one right here. I'll do some other ones as well. I'm just trying to see, where the veins are coming from. And really understand the anatomy and not necessarily this time just copy the lines. Like I would if I were doing an artist study, I would want to really concentrate on how the lines are made, different stylistic choices and stuff like that, and really copy what I'm seeing. And you do want to do that to an extent with anatomy or anatomy studies, but what I'm really trying to do with this anatomy study is understand the anatomy. The drawing is secondary. I'm not working on any style. Doesn't mean I won't, render things. So this we have this vein under the bicep opens up into all these veins in the forearm. And it appears as they branch, they get thinner, which makes sense. One thing that's fascinating to me is how much the branching of your lungs looks like a tree, and how much your blood, your veins look like roots, and how much, if you just pay attention, you can see the design, that repeated design in everything. You can see how the efficiency plays out, from nature. It's really beautiful. And you know, if you're going to be drawing, if you're going to be practicing any kind of art, observation is going to be a huge part of that. In fact, let me show you guys a book real quick. This is a book I want to use for my comic book. I've been wanting to go in to use for references for stuff because it's a sci-fi book and there's a lot of organic and electronic combinations. But this just shows how nature inspires designs of things and technology. I remember there being more side by side. Anyway, it's a pretty cool book. Hey, Hector. Welcome. I missed you, man. I haven't been streaming in a while. How you doing, man? How's your day been? But I was just talking about how so many design elements take inspiration from nature, and how in nature that your veins and arteries, how much they resemble a root system. And how much you're and branching, the branches and everything as well, they resemble trees, and how much your lungs branching resemble trees, and how much nature repeats itself at scale. And it really does. There's no denying it. You can see it with your own eyes. And some people might say that points to an element of design, that everything clearly has like these blueprints being used so many different ways. And other people would say that points to the efficiency of evolution and time, and how given enough time things will arrange themselves in the most efficient way. I think it's both. But that's just me, and I'm not going to get all preachy. I believe in God and that He designed the universe. But I also believe that there's no reason His methodology couldn't include evolution. And all of our best science, points towards suggesting that the process of evolution is, correct. And there's no reason to believe it isn't, as far as if you're going to believe your eyes anyway. But I don't think it's difficult to square that with a creator God. Especially when you start thinking how limited our existence is. There's so much we don't understand and can't understand. Anyway, I'm going to end up getting preachy with it. LA, welcome, Les. LAJS who? I agree, it is fascinating. Which part? Ecto, second day of kindergarten for my nephew. He is behaving better than yesterday. Excellent. That's good to hear. You know, that adjustment period is real. I know. See, now we're looking at anatomy reference, and it's still difficult to really correctly represent hands. You know, I want to go into stylistically representing them in a way that I know reads correct, but what we're trying to do with an anatomy study is understand the anatomy of what we're drawing. So I don't want to... Shortcuts are great, and I'll always take shortcuts in my art, but that's not the point of right now. And see these lines that go around like this that they've put in here and this? I don't know if you can see that on the camera. But those are just to help us understand the form. You'll see some artists incorporate those. I'll see if I have an example. So this is an artist named Bendis. He's incorporated some influence from American comic artists like John Byrne and Jim Lee. But these little circles that emphasize Colossus's form and also show that he's made of metal. I like to think that somebody was just playing around with the form and thought it looked cool and left the design element in. But these are cool. These are all the Bendis Marvel vs. Capcom covers. That's why I'm broke. Switch up the music a little bit. It's getting a little too drony for me. Hey Ecto, how's the music volume? Is it doubling? Is it can you hear me fine? Les. Also, welcome viewers. We're just doing some anatomy study right now. Anatomy in perspective. I don't know why I'm using this fancy ass watercolor paper. for anatomy study. I should have picked cheaper paper, but oh well. We're doing more of a hands and feet. Although this last one we did was definitely more of an arm thing. It didn't even really, it definitely covered the fist here and the fingers in the fist, but I was more concentrating on the veins of the arm. So when you're drawing, if you're going for hyperrealism, the contours of the vein in a very muscular arm, they'll affect the contours of the arm. So you want to take that into account. But, that's just, you don't always have to do that. It can look cool. That's like the 90s effect, right? All that ultravascular, what do you call it? Muscularity. Hector, can you hear me all right? Chad, if you can hear if you can hear me good, if my mic volumes are good, let me know. Or let me know if I can turn me up or the music down, all that kind of stuff. Don't just say turn the music down if you don't like the music. The music is there for a lot of the dead spots. When I don't have chat, it's better than silent when people come and watch. So until we can get some consistent chat flow where it's chat the whole time, we're going to have background music. Plus, I like it. It helps me draw. Let's do this hand right here. Let's start with the wrist. We'll notice that he has the wrist blocked out in kind of a rectangular shape. I'm not sure why. Maybe because we're just trying to understand where it connects to the hand, and that's more, I guess if you think about the shape of a wrist, it is kind of cylindrical, but it is kind of flat, and, that's how they've done it with the bone. Interesting. I'm going to put my inside bone right here so you can see it a little more than what he does. And then you have the palm. The meat of it. It should come off of the wrist more, like that. You got some suggestion of the veins here. And there he's drawn, you can really see the bone. He's really drawn the bone of the thumb, hasn't he? And like I've been saying, we're going to go ahead and we're not necessarily going to copy everything he does, but I want to copy that bone part because it's helping me to understand the anatomy of what's going on in the hand. And that is what the point of anatomy study is. For instance, you'll notice this should be more like right here. You'll notice here the skin wraparound. This is all skin, like that webbing right here, I guess. Seems kind of exaggerated to me, but maybe it's a little more exaggerated in my drawing, but it's a little exaggerated in his too. But we're noticing that's, and then this right here, this is muscle on top of the bone. And you don't need to know all that to draw people. Certainly, I'm not going to be keeping all that in mind every time I draw a figure. But it's interesting to me, one. And two, the better your understanding of anatomy is, the better your art's going to be, stylized or otherwise. Doesn't matter. If you understand the anatomy, you can stylize it better. You can exaggerate it better. Um, your drawing doesn't need to be anatomically correct to be good. Um, Famously, Marvel and Image artists in the 90s were bad at anatomy and I think had very cool and energetic art. Other people would disagree. But they sold. People liked them. There was no denying popularity. And you could tell that some of the better ones exaggerated the anatomy, and you could tell had a better understanding than others. Although even the best of them, in my opinion, the best of them were probably Eric Larson, Jim Lee, Todd McFarlane, Will Sportacio. Very frequently had not exaggerated, but very wonky anatomy, especially Todd McFarlane often had very wonky anatomy. But very cool. He definitely had like the most bang. You know, he did album work for Korn and Disturbed. I think he did work for Disturbed. David Finch did some album work for Disturbed too. Anyway, I'm on a tangent. But yeah, okay, so we kind of have this. Let's here's where we have the veins. We can kind of compare ours to what it's showing here. Let's erase on ours the bones out, and let's try to draw. Let's try to turn it into a more complete drawing of a hand. I think we would show the back of the hand. We could see some of this would be fine. Suggested, not necessarily straight up drawn. We'll round out our wrist. Ugh. And even right away looking at this thumb is not right. Our anatomy is wrong. Let's come in. Where are we messing it up? We have top. Here we have thumb. Pause where we're connected. Maybe on the wrist a little more. That's a little better. That's okay. We can move on to the next one. The book is thanks for letting me know that it sounds good. The book is Morpho by this one says it's by Michel or Michael. I'm gonna butcher his name, so you can read it. His or her name, I don't know. I don't know if they're all by the same artist, but it's a series of books called Morpho. Anatomy for Artists. And there's a main book. Yeah, it looks like they all have the same. They're all by the same artist. And the main book covers general anatomy for the whole body. It's bigger. The little book go into specifics. So there's more about hands and feet in this book than there are in this book. But this book does cover hands and feet. I have almost the whole set. They're very useful. I have hands and feet, mammals, clothing folds and creases, joint forms and muscular functions, fat and skin folds, muscled bodies, simplified forms. Yep. So, and they're all good, man. They're all really gold. Oh, trying to think of what reference we want to do next. We can continue with the anatomy study. I kind of want to work on some faces, and I don't have any faces on the anatomy study books. Writer study other artists. Yeah, I would check them out. They're pretty awesome. I do not have one on eyes. I don't know if there is one on eyes. But I got to get my chat up here so I can more look at the camera, so it feels like I'm looking at the audience because I have my chat over here. One on eyes would be great though. Eyes are, difficult to draw. They're complicated. There's a lot to them. Oh, I have so many like how to draw books. Some of them and others. This one is pretty cool. This one I had my mom order for me off Facebook. All right. Well, painting portraits. I think this one also like goes into like digital stuff more. I must have had this marked. We can do that. Let's. Oh, this is painting portraits in gouache. And, I mean, that's kind of cool, right? Like, there's a whole section that's just painting portraits in gouache. Like, this physical media. And then in the beginning, there's how specific. In the beginning, there's a whole section on how to do digital, how to draw digitally. There is, you may find some there might be some artistic, expression that people may find objectionable in these books, but it's nothing that's actually inappropriate, so I'm not going to worry about it too much. But yeah, this is digital illustration. This is Illustrator's Guidebook number 20, volume 3, number 21. The ad on Facebook was pretty compelling. We got some eyes. So this is like how to draw stylized eyes. Let's mess with it. we found something. Can you guys see this book pretty well? Yeah, well enough. How to draw stylized eyes. I start by drawing quick guidelines on the face to indicate where the eyes will be placed in vertical line to mark the center. These guides help me better understand spacing for features and avoid drawing eyes too close or too far apart. Next, I draw a simplified shape of the iris. The basic shape becomes the baseline for the rest of the eye. Starting from a simplified shape also makes it easier to understand perspective and direction the eyes are looking. I find line weight to be extremely important, especially when the style you are using relies heavily on line art, such as comics. Okay, I'm not going to read the whole book, don't worry. So you can see right here what she's talking about is her vertical and horizontal references. That's where she's getting that cross shape. And what that does, if you guys, if you're an artist, you're familiar at least somewhat with the Loomis method, where you draw, your head here, and then you have like this, and then you draw in your other shapes. You flatten out right here for your ear, and you draw the planes of the face. This is an even shorter hand, so you don't have to draw this whole circle first and then put in your eyes and your nose and your mouth or whatever. Okay, she's even shorter hand. This is what she does. Boom, boom. That was terrible, but let's try again. We're gonna do these. Start with these. So our cross here we got is going to demonstrate that shape of our head there too. It already suggests where the circle is. So if you start drawing a head this way, you're doing more than just putting where your eyes are going to be, right? You're starting the contour of your head. You're doing the outline stuff. And everybody does that differently. So here, this line right here is going to be where the nose is going to be. From the angle where I'm noticing that this eye already is closer to the nose. I might add some more guiding lines myself just to keep everything proportional in my estimate. Where she said that she then does the irises, and I went straight to the outlines of the eyes. So let's try and because this should have been up more. Because her iris is going to be over here. Her pupils are on the bottom of this line. And both of them I'm noticing. Which means I need to stretch up. Erasing is our friend. And then she has her cross marks here as well. And draw our irises. It's going to be real funny when this ends up looking nothing like the tutorial. That's okay though. That's it. What studies are for. They're just for learning. This is not how I do this. Then she's going to go ahead and draw her eyes around the eye shape around her irises. Which is kind of cool. Yeah, there are ads. How often does it happen? And then I'll try to switch it so that if you subscribe, you don't have to deal with ads. Yeah, let me know how often are the ads. Because it says you keep getting switched to commercials. It shouldn't happen too often. You know, I wouldn't want it to be too disruptive. But there are going to be ads occasionally. That is, unfortunately, that's part of how everybody gets paid. If you don't want ads, you have to come to my house and hang out with me. And then we can talk about this stuff with no ads. So already mine are closer together than hers. The expression is not the same at all. We're going to work it through, though. We're going to trust the process and see what happens. So she got a bolder line here. It's working with this pencil. We're going to get that line basically by filling in and shading. Making me miss having a pen. A brush pen, we can just make a thick line like that. But this line comes down, curves this way, and then concaves the other way. So what she's talking about when she said line weight is so notice how around my iris here, the line weight here is much heavier than here. Okay, she did that deliberately. So I'll try to copy that. So now that this isn't an anatomy study anymore per se, because we're not studying the anatomy of human eyes, we're studying her style and how to draw eyes. So we're switching up from necessarily trying to understand exactly everything that's going on and more trying to draw what we see. And, you know, I'm going to go ahead and blame that for why my eyes don't really look like hers, because I just been switched from anatomy mode to artist study mode. And anatomy study and artist study are quite different. All are about drawing what you see, but anatomy is more about understanding what's underneath. Yes, come over and eat roast beef. We still got plenty more. Although it's going fast. Welcome, we got a few more chatters. Hi guys. A few more viewers. Join us in the chat. Let's check the YouTube numbers. How many viewers do we have on YouTube? Are you guys prepared for disappointment? I am. Where did my YouTube thingy go? 0 current viewers. Woohoo! We have a total of 0 concurrent viewers on our YouTube live stream. However, I haven't put the link out to the YouTube live stream, so what we're going to end up with there is, I guess, just editing it down for some content. Hey, we got a first-time chatter, RJD 198352. Hi, welcome. Right now we're just doing some warm-ups and some studies. We were doing some anatomy studies, and then we got kind of a mild request to do some eyes. So I switched it up to some stylized eyes. But right now it's just warm-ups and studies. We might get to drawing something here in a minute. I'm open to suggestions. I'm not quite going to say I'm taking requests, but I'm open to suggestions. Talk to us. What do you want to see? I'm going to pull up my chat controller on the phone and see if that helps. Stream manager. Volume down. Automatic key. Interesting. Yeah, I still don't know how to get notices when my chat goes off, so I gotta set all that up. You have to do that manually, I guess. You'd kind of think Twitch would just have that set up, you know, ding you when you get a notice in the chat, but they do not have all that set up out first for you. You know, anybody who's tried to draw eyes, you understand how important symmetry is. If you don't get that symmetry right, it don't look quite right. But that's all right. You know, I don't know this artist. It's frustrating me that when I try to do an artist study, I try to get the image I'm drawing to make it so that you wouldn't be able to tell the difference between the study and me. That is not happening right now. That's okay. It looks okay. I think I got the gist of it, right? What do you guys think? I don't know. This eye's too big. So we could fix that though. Because there's a lot of... I don't think we made the iris too big. We have some line weight over here. Lighter line. This is to about there. And then here we go and back. That's a little better. Oh, I see. You can. I'm starting to see where she's drawn around the eyeball. Those are a little too close together, I think. But let's move on. Let's do this one. These kind of scared eyes. So we have, again, she starts with the cross right here, right? Your nose and your eyes are going to go across.